Overdrive continues, brought to you by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Bryan Hayes, Jason Strudwick, Jamie Noodles, McLennan, and we finally have someone dressed appropriately for live TV.
Yes.
National TV on TSN2. Carlo
I would rather be wearing what you're wearing right now. Have you been outside?
It's so cool. Thank you. See, you're from here. These two idiots. Finally, now I have someone from Toronto that I can connect with here because we have the Craig Berube. Although Noodles lives here now, Noodles has become soft. We have brought Noodles into the soft world that we have been living in. Why don't we play the Craig Berube clip? All right, let's play it one more time. Because Craig Berube, as we know, where's he from? Calahoo, Alberta?
Calahoo. Just north of Edmonton. North of St. Albert, actually, just by
beautiful suburb of Edmonton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Calahoo,
so he's from just outside of Edmonton. Freezing cold in Toronto. By any standard on earth, it's so cold here today.
Yeah.
Craig Berube addressing the media this morning. This is what he had to say.
Are you guys okay out there today? A little windy and cold for you? Or are you all right? I had a T-shirt on coming to this morning.
You know what the best part about that clip is? Look at his cheeks.
Yeah.
He's got windburn.
Oh, yeah. For sure he does.
He's got windburn on his face.
He's so cold. But he's got to admit, because he's from Alberta, he can't give in to really cold weather.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
Noodles and Strud they got to talk about, ice skating in minus 50 back in the day.
The jeans
have to do it.
Honestly, though, I have gotten soft. But when was it, like, Hayes, I know it's a sensitive topic, but do you remember when you and I first started, like, Blue Lunch? I didn't understand when there was a snowstorm in Toronto, they called the Army in.
They
like
did.
There was
they did. Mel Lastman, I think it was. Called the military.
The military showed up in Toronto to dig people out because it was like 5 feet of. It was something gross. Like it was like 4 or 5 people or 5 feet of snow, right?
It was a bit of an overreaction, I think, as we look back on it.
I would never let it go. Like I would bring it up there would be 1 inch of snow outside, and I would say, "Gotta call in the military." And Hayes would just get on me, and now I know. Like I feel like I've just gone so soft now. Like I don't want that snow. I don't want the wind is a pain in the ass. That's the problem. I can live if it was minus 15 and no wind, just crisp.
Yes.
I think you're fine with it. But the wind goes right through you, and I
exactly
just struggle
what
with
it is.
that.
Exactly what it is today in
How
in
old
town.
are you guys?
I
That's
know.
embarrassing. Like
I know.
like Noodles, you're the kind of guy that shovels the driveway with one hand on his shovel and the other on his phone, right? Like it's like just dig in there, get it done.
Or he pays somebody to do it.
Fair point. And then complains that he misses a little bit of snow. Oh, he missed that one patch.
I never complain. The people that do my driveway do a great job. They've got one of those trucks with like the rubber thing on the bottom. It's like a scoop or something.
Yeah.
And they do a great job.
Okay.
Like, it's awesome.
All right. Well, shout out to them for doing a great job. We appreciate
Thanks
that.
for saving Noodles.
Yeah, you saved Noodles.
Digging him out.
You're right about the wind. And then you know what happened? Like we were talking about this a couple hours ago, and some guy sent me a board of the weather in Manitoba, and it's minus 42 in Winnipeg.
Right now?
I think so.
That's chilly.
Like that is
That's
not normal,
cold.
man.
No.
You can't live like that.
That's Arctic, man.
Yeah.
Toronto would shut down.
Toronto
You guys
might.
shut down for weeks.
It might, and it should.
Stay home.
And it should. So what do you think of tonight? Is tonight a trap game? Could the Ducks represent a trap game for the Leafs tonight?
Well, could it possibly get any worse than it was last game?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Against New Jersey, you mean?
against New Jersey. I know they ended up getting the win, but I mean, you did the game.
Oh man, it was. I said yesterday it was a controlled scrimmage in the first period.
Yeah.
Run by Sheldon Keefe.
Yeah.
Using the Leafs as defense.
I
That's
guess so.
basically what it looked like.
I mean, I think under a Craig Berube coach team, there would and you saw it last game, like they got a lot better in the third period. I don't know why they started as slow as they did, but I can't imagine that they would think starting the same way tonight against an Anaheim team that's very vulnerable that it would be okay to do it.
They got to come out flying tonight, man.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, again, Thursday night in Toronto,
It's cold.
it's cold. You're probably gonna have a quiet crowd.
Yeah.
They-
Bundled up.
I mean, I don't think so, because when we've seen this team play like this year, it seemed like it was a one-off. We didn't see much of this type of consistent, slow play with them under Berube. I don't think that they start the same way tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But Carlo, this is what I see. I see this as a stepping stone for them to show they're maturing as a team, and they just come out and play the way they need to. And I think the good teams, they understand. Like you don't have to be perfect, but you play a mature game. You don't have to kill them 10-1 to prove that you're better. You just do your thing. It's not even about the Ducks. I don't even show the Ducks. I would just say, guys, show me you've matured.
And that's such a great point, Struddy, because you talked about good teams. Good teams know when they're playing those type of games, they just find a way to stay in it. They get their chance, and then they find a way to win because their best player steps up to score a big goal, and their goaltender steals one for them. I think that's a sign of maturing into a good team.
That was New Jersey, but you could go back in the schedule here, even a couple games before that. They didn't have a world beater game against Nashville, but it was 4 or 5 minutes early in the third period where was Marner and Matthews and said, okay, we're going to put us up 3-1 and the game's gone.
Right.
You know, like that type of stuff. And I think that's what it comes back to Struddy going, you know, saying, like, good teams do what they need to do that particular night to win or to be right there. You're not going to have a game of perfect. You're not going to have 60 minutes of just, you know, pillar to post. Once in a while, you have a game of perfect where it's like that, you know, there was no chance. But Anaheim played last night. This is a team that, you know, didn't have a great game against New Jersey, but they won. So you can be happy with it. I never criticize a win. A win is a win.
Right.
But I do think that they, if they know, guys got on the plane going, I didn't play that well tonight. You know, we'll have a better game next game. I do think they should hit the ground running and do what it takes to win tonight. It comes back to Struddy saying, like, it's not even the pre-scout on Anaheim. It's going, what are you capable of tonight? Yeah. That's really what it is for me.
Well, Jake McCabe returns tonight, and like when he was going through his contract negotiation, I don't think there was really any pushback. If anything, it was his age. Like they're committed to a lot of guys over 30 now, right? With Riley, McCabe, Ekman Larsson, and Tanev, and that's their top four. Like they've committed to it. Yet he was playing so well earlier in the year. He connected so well with Tanev, and then when he's out of the lineup, you can tell just how valuable he is. And if anything, I think a lot of Leaf fans over the last 2 weeks have said, now I get why they got in front of this and signed him. Yeah. And if anything, I don't know if they got a discount, but they did not overpay. I mean, he's a really good player and a really important piece.
For a top four defenseman, that's a discount.
Might have been a discount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the way he plays, fitting to the way the coach wants the team to play. Yeah, when he's not in the lineup, he's desperately missed. And I think more so because of the matchup, right? If you're using him and Tanev as your shutdown pair, now you're sliding in Ekman Larsson in there, maybe Benoit in there. You seem a little bit weaker, but I've been really impressed with this group of defensemen that the Maple Leafs have had all season. Even when they slide in, you know, Connor Timmins has turned himself into an everyday NHL defenseman, and a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Benoit hasn't had the same consistency to his game that we saw last year, and maybe it's because he knows he's the extra guy when everybody's healthy. And I know that feeling.
And he was playing with McCabe a lot last year.
And he was. He was the shutdown pair with McCabe in the playoffs. So,
yeah,
I think for McCabe, like, we all appreciate how hard he plays. I just hope he's ready to be that guy coming back, because it takes a blow to the head. Like, that was scary.
That was tough to watch.
Tough to watch.
Yeah, that was tough to watch.
Right? And you just hope that doesn't shy him away from the game that he's comfortable playing, which is a physical game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I guess, Carl, I know Noodles doesn't appreciate the work D does. Hayes just wants Mitch Marner to score 50 goals every year. So let's have a real talk here about the foundation of every team. So with the way Craig is getting everyone to play it, I believe it's less risky for the reward they're getting that. How has that affected, you know, the Mitch, not the Morgan Rileys, Tanevs, the D-man? Like, is that impacting them at all? Because they now know it's not going to be quite as, oh man, there's a turn with the blue line. Now I'm scrambling to get back to, you know, maybe defend something that you weren't, you know, perhaps seen coming down as they're going up to the ice.
Well, look, I played for Berube, and I understand the system that he's trying to preach, and a lot of it comes from being clean coming out of your own end. And I think when you watch this Maple Leafs team play, the way they break out, it's very clean. And with Sheldon Keefe coached teams, there was a lot of risk to the way they play offensively, especially. I think when you're eliminating that risk and you're just getting guys to playing clean with structure, the confidence comes with every play that you make, which at the end of the day makes the defenseman play more comfortable with their position, if that kind of makes sense.
Sure.
And you see it. Like, you don't see the Maple Leafs give up a ton of like grade A scoring chances because they just have guys that know that when they have the puck, they can make a good play, but also they find themselves in good positions to make the right play. And you look at I did some research the other day. The Maple Leafs have the 23rd ranked most goals scored in the league. That's not what we're used to.
They're not crushing it offensively
in Toronto. Like, they would outscore a lot of their problems in years past. And now, like last game is a great example where, you find yourself in a game where not much going on, but you still find a way to win because you trust in everything that you're doing, that you're not giving up that next goal that could be crippling.
With Carlo Colaiacovo, and you look at Marner's season and how defensively sound he is, how smart he is, the numbers he's putting up. Like, he is, I don't think there was any question that he'd find a way to work with Berube, and Berube made it pretty clear almost immediately he wants to work with Marner. Like, there was so much noise around Marner and his future, and Berube almost immediately said, I think he probably spoke that to Tree Living. Like, don't even think about moving on this guy. Let me have a chance to coach him for a year. But the fact that he's so comfortable playing a different system, playing maybe a defensively sound game first, and yet still putting up points, I think that speaks to his all-around game and the IQ that he's got.
Well,
that he's not like uncomfortable, where Matthews looks uncomfortable at times, if that makes sense. Like, he doesn't look as explosive offensively, like he's trying to buy in to a system, where Marner, I think, is just capable of basically playing any system you want him to.
When we talk about Marner, we always talk about his skill set, but Mitch Marner is a pretty damn smart hockey player, and probably one of the elite, hockey IQs in the National Hockey League.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing that now because, I've talked to some of the coaches throughout the year, and the glowing praise that Marner continues to get from this coaching staff about how good he is, not just because he's skilled, but how good he is because he can be trusted to play any position or any role that you want him to play. And I think that's what's impressing the coaching staff even more this year in a new system, is that he's still a guy, plays the most minutes of every forward, accepts a defensive responsibility, one of their top penalty killers out there, obviously one of their top point producers. I think with Matthews, you talked about how he looks like he's struggling in the system. I think maybe you see that struggle because I don't think he fully has 100% confidence in his health right now. And he's still, he's missed some time. They want to make us believe that it's something that's not going to get worse, and I believe that. But if he's not feeling like himself, there's a trust thing there too. And I don't see that trust issue or factor with Marner. If anything, I see a lot of confidence.
Absolutely.
So then with all of this, and I don't want to I don't want to bring it up every week, but it's like, okay, this guy just continues to chip away no matter what is thrown at him. Like, do we just not bring up the contract, or is it just same thing like Colorado? Like Rantanen, we don't hear noises out of Colorado. Like, What are they doing with Rantanen or whatever? Like, those are two elite players that are free agents next year because they don't have a contract for next season. So is it just, I believe, is it just assumed that it's been kicked, the can has been kicked down the road, or, what do you think of that, Carlo? For Marner. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a good assumption as to where this contract's going to land. It's probably going to be north of $12 million. That's a pay raise. It's below Matthews. Now, I know Colorado, people have speculated that they want McKinnon's contract to be the internal cap that teams like to use. People have suggested that the Leafs want Matthews' number to be the internal cap, but can you blame either one of these guys if they feel like they want to get paid more?
Well, you can ask for whatever you want.
You can ask for whatever you want.
Yeah, it's a matter of who's going to give it to you.
Right. So,
are you going to win?
Yeah, are you going to win? Exactly.
Right, and I think for Marner,
that needs to come in.
I don't know. It's kind of almost
more for sure.
It's almost kind of better that it has been quiet around him, because he's been playing unreal
because
right
he's performed and the team has won.
Right.
Too, right? Like, there's a lot of positive kind of vibes around the team right now. With Carlo Colaiacovo in studio, first up, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday right here on TSN Radio. Oilers Wild tonight. We were talking about this with Ryan Callahan earlier this afternoon. Are the Wild a legit cup contender, in your opinion, or just a team that's been red hot through 28 games?
Well, what's the recipe you need to be a cup contender? You need elite goaltending, you need a stud defenseman, and you need a star forward. Minnesota has all that. You know, Gustafsson, Noodles, you could probably.
He's been unreal. So
he's been one of the best. And
right
you know, Fleury comes in and gives them spot starts. That Brock Faber kid's a stud on defense. Now they just brought in another young guy. Juracek.
Yeah.
And Kaprizov is playing like a Hart Trophy guy. So I think, they're a surprise team for me. I didn't think they'd be this good, especially they're operating with $14 million less on the cap than anybody else.
Yeah.
Because of their cap. Because of
Suter and Parise balance.
Right.
Winnipeg started 15-1. Minnesota's caught them.
Yeah.
Minnesota's ahead of them. And Winnipeg was 15-1.
Maybe Struddy can touch on this too, because we're talking about Edmonton. Edmonton had another slow start again this year. You looked at the standings lately?
Yeah, they're right in the mix.
They're only 4 points back of the division lead.
Yeah. How are we feeling out there, Strud? You think they're going to win the Pacific or what?
Well, I don't know if they're going to win the Pacific. And history suggests this team doesn't do anything the easy way. This team being the Oilers, right? Like, they've never won the first place. They're always kind of starting on the road. And even their series, they kind of start and get back from, they have to crawl back from behind. So I don't think they are going to. They're playing like a team that knows it's a long season, and they're managing, made their effort, even the physicality. Connor and Leon aren't hitting like we've seen them hit in previous years. So I think that they're managing it. They understand the road, and they're going to keep going at it. One comment I'll make, and I'll kind of chime off of you there, Carlo. I think that the reason I can't have Minnie as a cup contender is the reason you mentioned. $14 million. That's 2 or 3 really good players that other teams have. So you get deep in the playoffs, other teams have that. And I know they have some good young players that are cheaper, but I would just think that eventually the other top teams have that. What the Wild doesn't. It's a great story.
A lot of money,
Well, a lot of cash on the sidelines.
I just had one question too. How did you pronounce? Is it Kaprizov or what did you say? Kaprizov. Is it Kaprizov or Kaprizov? Now you got me thinking like.
Are you talking about Ovalchuk?
You're like Kaprizov. I'm like, who the hell is Kaprizov?
Kaprizov. Carol Kaprizov.
Kirill Kaprizov.
Carol Kaprizov.
Carol Kaprizov. Grapes is on with us.
Honestly, I will say this though: if you're voting for the Hart today, he might be.
He's the favorite on FanDuel right now, Noodles.
Right?
Like he's the favorite.
So you're right. Struddy, you make an unbelievable point because depth is always challenged deep into the playoffs, and you need guys in your third and fourth line that probably make more than the league average or the league minimum. But the D, the goalie, and the forward, like they've got a Vezina finalist and a Hart finalist right now on their team. If you're picking the awards today.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can look past them because they might just have this weird mojo, like, hey, we've come together, we play as a team. Now they've got, Faber's on a low contract. You look at it.
Marco Rossi's been great.
Yeah, Rossi's
cheap right now.
So you're looking at it like, now, do they have enough to push you through into a deep run? I don't know because we haven't seen it, right? We haven't seen it. But at the end of the day, I think I look at this. Right now, I think they are like a cup contending team, but you got to give them more time. Like this is, I'm sorry, sample size 30 games.
Right.
I need to see more from them. That's what I think.
Right? I'm with you. I mean, if I were ranking teams I think could win the Stanley Cup within their division, they're 4th for me.
In that division?
Yes, I'd still have Dallas, Colorado, and Winnipeg ahead of them.
Yep.
Like, I don't care what you've done through 28 games. Like, I'm taking those 3 other teams. If the Stanley Cup playoffs started tonight, I would take those.
So maybe
3
they're
teams.
A playoff contender.
They're playoffs for sure. I mean, if they screwed
Cup
this
contender.
up, it would be crazy. And could they win a round or 2, Noodles? Be competitive, sure, but I don't know about cup contender quite yet.
I'm taking right now. If you just had me ask, like, It's Colorado. Colorado just went and changed their goaltending. Now they've got the team in front of them.
Yeah.
Like they
Have you
were
ever
like,
seen
I'm
that before,
sorry.
Noodles? A team just shuffle out both of their goaltenders a quarter into the season.
No, not a quarter into the season. I've seen turnover. I've seen it here in Toronto. Like they've turned both goaltenders over in the offseason where it's like, that's not working. Two new guys. I get that. You're right, a quarter of the way into the season, like, nope, Georgie 5, you got to go, and we're trading for, Annanen, where you're out, you're a young guy. Like, now it's Blackwood and Wedgwood. Yeah, the
and
Woods.
Mileswood.
Yeah, there's a lot of it out there.
Yeah.
You guys see the story that Teddy Bluger's mom won the 50-50 out in Vancouver?
What?
Yeah, she won.
Saw it. It was unreal.
How much?
It was $100,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she won the 50-50. Like, what's the reaction like if you come out through the tunnel or whatever, you got your suit on, your families are waiting, and your mom's like, I won the 50-50. Like, how would you react if that happened?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun Christmas this year.
I guess. I mean, that's
crazy.
It's a cool story. And people in Vancouver are like, it's rigged. How did that
How
happen?
did a player's mom win it?
Yeah.
They don't make enough money.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's her money.
It's hers. She bought a ticket. She didn't do the
Hey, man,
raffle.
you buy a ticket, you deserve to win.
All day.
It's fair
day.
and square because there's not like, I don't know, what was the NBA draft that people thought was rigged?
The Ewing draft for the Knicks.
Yeah, Patrick Ewing, right? Like that's, but these 50-50, these 50-50s, like you're buying from, somebody in
a
the
vendor
stands.
walking up the stairs. Exactly.
I think now you can buy it on your phone now.
Yeah, you
There's an
can
app.
now.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
So
you can now.
I'm pumped for her. It is a bit awkward because Blueger doesn't make league minimum, does he? I think he makes a couple sheets a year, doesn't he?
I would guess.
Like,
He's been in the league
Okay,
for a few
so
years.
this is what I want to ask. You brought up 50-50. Struddy, how does the Edmonton Oilers game get up to hundreds of thousands?
Millions.
Is it millions? 50-50?
It's millions, Carlo.
Millions. How?
I'm telling you, because everybody in Alberta it's like scratch tickets, Lotto 649. Like everybody plays Lotto like it's their job.
Oh, we love it.
I
that's
love
your
it.
thing. That is what I
Struddy, do you play?
define Alberta. Go ahead, Strud. Can you hear us? Struddy's having serious technical
He's on the
issues.
phone. He's staring at us. I'm like, has this guy decided to
I
just
know.
quit?
Gordon
But
Gekko, he's on his cell
I want to
phone.
weigh in on it because I have friends in Alberta that we have a little pot going. So I will send them money, and the three of us go in. Like we'll go in on it. So because you have to be an Alberta resident,
Right.
to buy. Like it's
So you're just investing in the group.
Right, so I will just email money in. It's like and in the group chat they're like, Noodles, you're buying tickets today. It's Dan's turn tomorrow. It's Shayla's turn.
Is there an opening in that group? I'd love to chip
Well,
in.
you know what's going to happen. They're going to win, and Noodles, these two will disappear. They'll be in Hawaii. Noodles isn't getting a penny. You're not getting a penny if they actually
You think Dan
finally
and
win it.
Shayla would jam me up?
Yes.
You know what? I mean, the joke is if I don't hear from them and all of a sudden I see on their Instagram or something they're in Turks and Caicos or in Hawaii,
Exactly.
you know that they're gone. And
You know they won it. There's Noodles
Honestly,
being like, what happened to those tickets?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot of
But
money, man.
no.
It's a lot of money.
there's-
Shout out to the Blueger family.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Blueger family.
And that's tax-free, right?
I think up here, generally it is. Yeah, in the
is.
States, I think you got to pay tax on that.
Yeah, States you got to pay tax on.
So you're doing the panel tonight, Habs Pens.
yeah.
You got Sid at the Bell Center.
You know what, man? Habs games have been a lot of fun to watch lately.
Freewheeling out there. Eh? And Laine's been a great story.
Patrik Laine has re-energized that team and re-energized that fan base. The goals this guy is scoring, like I exaggerate when I say this, but he actually blows the roof off the building in that place.
That's crazy, man.
I hope they have good arena insurance because if he scores again tonight, he's been on fire. And what that's done is it's give them more balance. Now they've got a second line of Laine, Doc, and Slavkovsky. So, and Lane Hudson, elevating him to the power play, top unit power play. They've been a fun team to watch lately.
Yeah, Laine, man, he goes bar down as well as anyone in the league.
Oh.
Like, he just snaps it. He's got the chain under his neck guard. That you don't see too often.
From the back?
From the back, you can see the chain. He's got the chain. He's like, I'm wearing this chain. I'll wear a neck guard,
Yeah.
but I'm rocking that chain too.
It's a big line,
and it's
too,
not. It's not just goals. Like he's going like bar down.
Oh, I know exactly.
Yeah,
like he is
it's wicked.
He looks
wicked.
like vintage Laine, man. It's a really cool story.
Yeah.
Really cool
That's
story.
where I was going to go, Hayes. It's a great story because it's a feel good story.
Yeah.
There was a time there early in his career where we were expecting this guy. It was 4 his rookie year, and you're going, okay, this guy could be a 50-goal scorer in his sleep once he settles into the league, and he just never got there. He never got there, and then it's Columbus, and he doesn't like it, and I don't know what's going on, and then he has a mental health struggle, and now it's just a great, him even to start this season with Montreal, and then he blows his knee out.
I know.
Like it just
preseason game. I know.
Your heart hurts for him, but it's just a feel-good story, and obviously it's given juice to the team a little bit,
Big
right?
time.
It helps their
Big
power
time.
play. It kind of just gives them, to me, it's just a great story where there's 2 positive things in Montreal. Actually, I'll give a third. Montembeault
has been incredible since
been
You
a great
called that
story.
making on Canada, man. When
Yeah,
we were
Carlo,
doing that in the
you
summer, I was
called
like,
it.
I don't
Yeah.
see it, but
Yeah.
you were out in front of all that.
And then Lane Hudson, and then Patrik Laine. So
Yep.
you've got 3 nice stories there.
And Caulfield
to
scored
focus
a
on.
million goals this year.
Yeah, he's
too.
got I
Like,
think 17
Yeah.
or 18 right now.
He scored a lot of goals.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Carlo. Good seeing you, man. Thanks for doing
Great
this.
seeing you too. Can I borrow that
Stay
hoodie
warm,
on my
buddy.
walk over?
Yeah, you need my hoodie? That's
warm,
what I
big guy.
Stay warm, man. Stay warm out there.
Good seeing you guys.
There's Carlo Colaiacovo. First up, he'll be on the panel tonight. Habs Pens on TSN. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2. All right, Best Bets brought to you by FanDuel later in the hour on the Thursday nighter tonight. Niners, Rams, Hazenbro. The pick is in. Rams plus 2.5. Got my list coming up. Hazy B's list on a Thursday.
Yes.
I could only get to 3. Bit of a cop-out, but I figured I want to be optimistic. I want to be a optimistic Canadian hockey fan. So I'm going to get to my list in a moment. But we have sent Al's brother out somewhere in the city with a pair of Leaf tickets, and you have to guess where he's hiding for your chance to win them. You guys ready for the 4th and final clue of the week?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay, it's Thursday. Time for your final clue to get yourself a pair of Leafs and Islanders tickets on December 31st. And let me tell you, I immediately regret the decision to come here. This place is an absolute zoo, but I got to get my Christmas shopping done, and this is the best place to do it.
All right, so we all know where he is, I think, by this point. I referenced this mall earlier in the show. It's all good. Find out tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow, and the first caller through with the correct location will win a pair of tickets to see the Leafs take on the Islanders December 21st. All right, Doogie, there we go. 21st?
21st.
21st. Okay, thank
Oh,
you.
is it Ron Bergen to you or what? What's he doing?
Al's brother said the wrong date, I guess. So, and then anyway, Find Al's Brother is brought to you by McCabe Pine Ford in Aurora. Our family, the Ford family, and you. Full details at tsn1050.ca. All right.
Can I just defend myself for a second?
Yes, please.
JP just seriously screwed me. He wants me to change my codec mid-interview.
Yes.
He calls me on my phone, and then he hooks me back up. I can't hear what you guys are saying. I look like amateur hour over here. JP, I hate to throw you under the bus, buddy, but you just did it to me mid-interview.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
JP, do you want to explain yourself?
Outrageous.
Yeah, exactly.
It
Come on
is,
and defend yourself, JP.
It's what's going on behind the glass today is just wild. Go ahead, JP.
Truth be told, there is no defense. It was a miscommunication part on my end that I thought
I
he
can't
would
even
have been
hear him
fine.
now. I
Of
still
course
can't
not.
hear him.
Why would you want to hear the guy who runs the technical portion of the
He's
show?
trying to screw me over. You're trying to get me out of this team?
JP is sabotaging. Are you
JP wants
sabotaging
me out.
Struddy? Is that your plan?
I'm actually
not
the one
answering
who,
your text.
I'm actually the one
Yeah.
who changed his Wikipedia as well, just for the record.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
I'm not
exactly
answering your
right.
text, JP. You're done. You're
JP
done. You've got a 2-week suspension.
Well, it doesn't help. JP's the only Samsung guy here too, so everyone else
Oh,
is on iChat.
classic.
And we got to have a green background because of JP He's sabotaging everything.
That's why I'm not in the group chat.
Yeah, you're sabotaging us right now. All right. Were you guys ready for this list? 3 reasons
can't wait to
why
get it,
I
yeah.
believe a Canadian team is going to win the Stanley Cup this year, okay? Number 3,
yeah.
admittedly, is a complete cop-out, but probability is at number 3. Now, let me explain here. I know. It has been 31, it'll be 32 years without a Stanley Cup. There are 7 Canadian teams in a 32-team league. At some point, probability alone would suggest I'm going to put my chips down on green 00 because it will hit. And I believe that is the case. Also, I believe we're looking at a scenario where we could have 5 Canadian teams in the dance. Toronto's going, Winnipeg's going, Edmonton's going. I believe Vancouver will get in, and Ottawa is right there. Like, I'll believe it when I see it with Ottawa, but it's not like they're 10 points out. They're in the mix, right? And if Ullmark gets hot and they start moving and shaking the way that I believe that they can, and Noodles, you've been pumping their tires for a while, you and a lot of people, if they get in, that's 5 tickets. You give me 5 Canadian tickets.
Out of 16.
Out of 16. Probability is number 3. I know that's not the greatest case to make, but it's true.
Let's just go the safe route.
Yes.
4 out of 16.
4 out of 16 is still 25%.
25. 1 in 4 opportunity.
Exactly, and it's been 32 years. And I think those 4 teams are pretty good teams.
They are. I think you could make a case for all 4 teams. If Ottawa makes it, then, you can make a case that Ottawa goes on this run or whatever. They get hot at the right time. But let's just say, 1 in 4. Yes, they are good teams. It's just, I don't know. You know what it is? I've got PTSD, and I'm sorry. I'm going to. It's like we say things, it looks different this year. Or no chance they're going to do it this many. Like, no chance it's going to happen 6 times. And then it happens, and then you're like, oh, So I can see what you're saying. I can reason with it and say, yes, eventually, the numbers will have to happen. But I'm on the other side because I've got PTSD about it. You know what I mean?
I understand.
That's where I'm at.
32 years we've been doing this, Strud.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Hayes, you're the kind of guy that walks into a casino and sees 9 black hit numbers of hit on roulette. And you're like, it's due. The 10th one will be red.
Got to be red. It's a lot.
Still 50-50.
No, it's not.
50-50 chance.
Now momentum is swinging towards red.
But the chips don't care, right? The dice don't care. It's just that they don't care what happened before. This is it. So, but I think that we're getting close. There's a lot of good players playing in Canada right now. The talent is high on all the teams, including Ottawa.
Yes.
Maybe I won't call them contenders. The Leafs, according to everyone, is a contender that lives out east.
Yeah.
But you got Vancouver. They've got a pretty good team. The Oilers.
Winnipeg's good. Yep.
Yeah. Montreal, probably not quite there. Calgary, not quite there. But I think there's a lot of good talent here in these Canadian teams. So I think it's coming up.
Yes.
But unlike you, I can't just say we're like the saying we're due thing. I just don't.
Well, again,
I can't get behind that one.
I hear you. It's not the most compelling case. That's why I said number 3. I was thinking about putting goalies up here, but that's more specific to Hellebuck, Demko if he's healthy, because I think Skinner's got to prove it again. The Leafs goalies both have to prove it. So I was going to go with the goalies, but I thought probability, and more so again, if you give me 4, maybe 5 tickets in a 16-team dance, maybe we find a way to get Teddy Blueger's mom scenario here with a 50-50 drops our way. All right, that's a number 3. The talent I'll get to in a moment. Number 2 is I don't see an American powerhouse where in years past, last year it felt like Destiny Florida was going to be the team that just was going to beat you. They were not going to be stopped. I don't think that applies to them this year. I still think they're a great team, but I don't think it, again, 3 straight years going to a cup final, very difficult to do. Tampa did it, but we saw they ran out of fumes in that 3rd year. Vegas, a couple of years ago, felt like they were a team that was they were motoring and they weren't going to be stopped. Tampa, in their years, in the COVID bubbles, they were clearly the best team. I don't see that down in the States. We have Minnesota leading their division right now. Very good start. Really, really good. LA's been up and down. Florida and Tampa have been okay. Boston's a tire fire. The Rangers are a mess right now. I like Carolina. I like Jersey. I like Vegas. I like Colorado if their goaltending's legit. It is, but when did Mackenzie Blackwood become Marty Brodeur? You have to explain that to me.
No, he doesn't. Look, that's the thing, though. They won the Stanley Cup with Darcy Kemper.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I look at it. I think.
Are they a powerhouse, though, to you? Like, do you look at Colorado with 34 points, albeit a lot of that was injury-related and the goalies stink, but are they like I'm terrified of that team? I don't see that.
No, look, you're right. As of 28 games into the season, I just think they just got so much better with stable goaltending, and I am not convinced that they are not done yet. Like some weird trade where it's like they did the Middlestat trade out of nowhere, not out of nowhere, but I didn't see that one coming. Right? again, Pittsburgh's gotten off the mat, but you heard Sid, Colorado, all of that type of stuff. Yeah. I think there's something up their sleeve there still that would put them getting Nichushkin back. Keep in mind, this guy just showed up again. And who knows if they can trust him again, because it was 2 playoffs in a row that this guy disappeared on him. But you're right, just a clear-cut, pillar-to-post powerhouse where it was like Boston with 62 wins or whatever. I think you're right, Brian, as far as just saying powerhouse, but I could make a case for a lot of the teams that you did mention, for Tampa, for Florida, for Colorado, for Winnipeg.
But you can do it for Canadian teams too.
Exactly.
That's the thing,
so it's
right?
kind of on the same.
That's
same
what I'm
level.
at. I think the playing ground, again, it could be different by the end of the year. I'm not saying there's Canadian teams that deserve to be definitively at number 1. But I don't see a Boston from a couple of years ago. And they flamed out in the playoffs. But remember what they looked like, what Tampa looked like when they won 62 games. Again, Florida had that feel to me last year where it was I don't know who's going to beat them. They look like a clear-cut favorite. I haven't seen that out of an American team, which, again, just kind of evens the playing field, which should put Canadian teams in a better position. And at number 1, I will drive home the point that I think you were making, Struddy. Generational players get cups. And Edmonton is where you would start with this. McDavid is going to win one. I cannot live in a world, I cannot believe he's going to go through his career without winning. I think that would be a travesty. I know it doesn't matter how I feel. It's not an emotional thing. But McDavid, Draisaitl, I think Matthews, you can make an argument, is on pace to be the greatest goal scorer ever, or he's going to be in that conversation, on pace to be the greatest American ever, or you can make that case. Guys of that ilk, Hellebuck doing what he's doing as the clear-cut, best goalie in the league the last couple of years. Quinn Hughes, the way that he's growing as a defenseman.
Right.
You have this uber talent in the country. You pointed at that, Struddy. And these guys, eventually they break. And I don't know which one. On my pecking order, I would go Edmonton number 1. I think I'd probably go Toronto 2, Winnipeg 3, Vancouver 4 as of today. Could change by April. But when you have guys like McDavid, like Draisaitl, like Matthews, those guys they win. They find a way to win. They get their cups. And Canadian teams have them right now. And they're in their primes. I think that's the important thing to point out. They should be hungrier than other superstars who have already won because they haven't. They're all in their primes. This is when it's going to pop. You're in a window here, and I'm going to put money on it that one of them can do it in 24, 25.
Yeah, and just, to sum it up, what I see is that I think this year is the jump ball. The year that Colorado won it, they were so good. So good. They were just Vegas. It felt like they were going to win it. They were going to the ones they're going to get. And just go back. It's always they're just going for it. And this year it feels like a jump ball amongst 5, 6, 7, 8 teams.
Yeah.
It's instead of it's this team against everybody. I think it's I don't know how high we want to take it, but let's just call it 5, 6.
Yep.
And so it's a jump ball. So first, do they make any additions that have a big impression, moving forward? Injury, luck, although I don't love luck because but I know a lot.
It factors in though, Strud. You need things to break your way,
but you can't. Yeah,
can't rely on it. But
I guess part of it is luck is not getting injured, right? So those are the things. So I think I would phrase it as a jump ball this year compared to I agree. Florida looked really good last year, although so did Edmonton. But Florida had been through it once already. Right.
Yeah, exactly. When Pittsburgh won their cups, you could feel it. When Chicago was in that window, you're this team, I don't know how anyone's going to beat them. L.A. after the first one. The first L.A. one was shocking because of them kind of backdooring into the playoffs, and then they never lost. I think they lost a game to Vancouver in the first round and basically didn't again until the Cup final. But, yeah, that's a jump ball, I think, is a great way to describe it.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like. Throw it up, and I think if you're a Canadian fan – ideally, you'd have that powerhouse, and maybe one of them will feel that way by the end of the year. Winnipeg did the first month. Of the year was wow, Winnipeg's the best team in the league. By the end of last year, you could have made the argument, Edmonton, the best team in the league. We'll see, and this is always subject to change as the year goes on, but trying to be optimistic here on a Thursday.
That's where I was going to go, Brian. So we are, let's say, 30 games in. Most teams are at 28 in that range or whatever. Can we do this list, or can we revisit this list 45 games into the season?
Yes.
Not 41, just past, maybe 50 games. 50 games into the season, and see what it looks like and see if teams have made trades, see if guys have pushed through inconsistency, just see what the league looks like. See if we are talking about 5 teams or really 4 or, like that type of stuff. But as of right now, I agree 100%. It is a jump ball because nobody's running away with it. I think there's more than 5 or 6 teams. I think there might be 8. But that depends. That the Rangers get their act together.
Yep.
Do they make a big move? Stuff like that. So I'd like to see 50 games and revisit this list.
I love it.
Promise me that.
I will do that.
Right.
Doogie, lock it in. Doogie and JP.
Whichever one you are. Struddy's calling you both the same name.
Struddy's confusing the two.
Well, I thought that's what I have his name as my thing. Isn't it? That's his name?
No, Doogie is Josh. Doogie, come on the mic.
It doesn't make sense.
Has Struddy called you JP?
I believe we've talked over the mic, and Struddy said JP.
Yeah.
And I believe you thought it was me, but there's 2 JPs here. My last name starts with a P. Our technical producer is also JP.
That's a good point.
Many people have talked about that. It's not the first time, Struddy.
Actually, that's the first I hear of it. Now that I think about it, I've been on the show for years, but I forgot that Doogie's last name.
Josh Pulis. Yeah, JP and JP, and then we got Joe from the Bridge.
It's
we got it all covered. JB, we got it all covered. Yeah. All right, Strud.
Only hearing half the show. We screwed me over.
I know they're sandbagging you bad, man. They're really trying to take you out at the knees.
Sorry, Struddy. We're sorry.
I don't know who likes the cologne. Which of the Joshes likes the cologne? That's what I'm confused about.
Oh, that's Doogie. Yeah,
Doogie told me that he and his buddies literally talk about cologne. Which to me was a shocking revelation. But he said, cologne talk's a big I don't even think Doogie's a millennial. Doogie's like a Gen. What are you, Doogie?
What's the next one after?
You're not a millennial,
Gen
that's
Z,
for sure.
Or is he Gen Z or?
Do you know, Doogie? Are you looking it up? That's how
I'm a
young
Gen
he is.
Z.
You're a Gen Z.
Search it up.
Yeah?
I'm a Gen Z.
You're a Gen Z guy.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
makes
Doogie.
sense.
Gen Z's big into colognes and sandbagging people on the air.
I just got some breaking news, too, from a buddy of ours that worked with the Rangers for many years, and he said no staff alumni jackets as well. So, honestly, I think the Rangers have they're not doing people right there.
Disappointing.
They're one of the aren't they one of the wealthiest teams in pro sport? Or
Dolan,
in the NHL,
man. It's MSG. Dolan owns, they're under the whole umbrella. Knicks, the Garden, the Rangers. The Rangers are generally valued as the most expensive team in the league.
Yeah.
Or the most highly valued team in the league, more so than the Leafs, the Habs.
Wow.
I'll send an email to Mess. I'll email Mess. We'll get this straightened out. We'll all have jackets or
please do.
Nice cardigans or something.
The line would stop at me though. I think I played 4 games with them.
You get one. You're in. You played a game.
Do people get an alumni coat if you played 1 game for the Leafs?
I believe
that's a question that we have to ask.
You'd have to ask for one, I would think.
If you played for the Marlies, you get one. It's just everybody.
Everyone gets one. Marlies.
Hand them out.
Struddy, I was telling Hayes and O the other day when I got to the Rangers, Mike Dunham was my goalie partner, and the team was really in a tough spot. They had cleared out. The number 1 pairing, I think, was Chris McAllister and Dale Purington. That was the number 1 pairing D.
Yeah.
Okay, so
challenged offensively.
We go out for a game. I think we're playing Pittsburgh, and Dunny's like, "Hey, listen to when I get announced. When they say starting in goal." He goes, "The fans hate me here." So they go starting in goal, Mike Dunham, and the crowd just goes boo! It was insane. And he looked over at me. He was laughing. I was like, "Oh my God, this place is an animal house here." It was so funny.
It's
tough living in New York.
They're hard fans, man. When you're not playing well, I remember being booed off the ice after the first period. It's 1-0, get booed off the ice. We better pick it up. We might not make it out of here.
New York in a nutshell. We'll come back with our best bets brought to you by FanDuel. Wrap up a busy afternoon. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2. All right, today's best bets are powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Very unfortunate line movement for Hazenbro. Now up to Niners -3.
Saw that.
Of course, it moves in the direction of these two dummies, and they get the advantage of that. But we're still on the Rams, +3, better than ever. Rams +3. They cover the number tonight. Kyron Williams, anytime touchdown score, and Matthew Stafford over 246.5 total yards passing tonight. That parlay paying +311. And today's best bets, again, powered by FanDuel. The FanDuel Sportsbook app is the exclusive home of the OverDrive same-game parlay. Please play responsibly. 19+, physically located in Ontario. All right, boys. Well,
good stuff.
Good stuff. Everyone survived. Everyone got through the cold weather and technical difficulties, and JP and Doogie trying to sewer everyone else, and it's all good. It's all good.
Hoodie show. The hoodie show.
The hoodie show.
Out.
The hoodie show. I'm bringing this in more, man. I felt good today.
Comfortable.
Very comfortable. Very comfortable. All right. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes. Everyone behind the scenes. Reluctantly.
Do you really mean that?
Reluctantly. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes.
I don't mean that.
Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web. We appreciate it. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at
4 p.m.
We'll chat then.